So this week on 52 Weeks of Why, I have the privilege of hearing somebody's why that I've been curious about since I kind of had this inception of the idea. There were a few key people that I thought about when I began this journey. And the person today is going to be great. You're going to love her, and I'm happy that she's here. But before we go into that, like I've done in prior weeks, I want to share a quote. Now, this one isn't specifically relating to the why, like the last couple have been. But this is from one of my mentors that I've never met, Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn has a wealth of quotes, but this one kind of correlates to the why a little bit more than some of the other ones. Excuse me. This one is, life is designed to be a story of achievement in spite of adversity, not in the absence of adversity. For without adversity, achievement could not exist. So my guest today is Nicole Rueth. Nicole is a fellow Fairway Mortgage employee, is a part of Fairway Ignite. I believe I met Nicole about 3 or 4 years ago in a trip to California, if I recall correctly. Nicole, first, man, getting our schedules together was tough. So thank you for making time to do this with me today.
Well, this is fantastic. William, thank you for inviting me.
No problem. Thanks again for making time. So Nicole is in Denver, Colorado. She's on the other end of the spectrum of parenting that I am. She has a 21, a 19, and an 18-year-old. So her 3 kids are off in college. She gets to have a little bit more freedom in her life these days. I'm a mom for obviously a very long time and a wife for 24 years. She's been with Fairway 6 years. She's been with Fairway Ignite, one of the founding members of Fairway Ignite, the coaching company that I'm a part of, and is extremely active in her association of realtors. If you hear her speak today, there's a wide variety of videos that she's done for the Association of Realtors, also within our circuit of Fairway Ignite. So again, I would encourage you to look her up and watch some more of her videos. Without further ado, Nicole, what's your why?
My why today, right? So it evolves so tremendously, and I am deeply rooted in anything I'm doing at the time. My husband used to say that I had campaigns. He goes, "So what's your latest campaign?" Because I'd be so into whatever that season of my life was. My why now. So I just turned 50 this last year. I'm just about to crest into 51. And I have these 3 amazing adult children. My why stems from my work, but it feeds into my family. So I have the good fortune of working with a lot of investors. I do a lot of work in financing investment properties as well as all other mortgages for that matter. But I do a lot of presenting on how to build wealth through real estate. I own 23 investments myself, and I helped my 21-year-old son when he was 20 buy his first investment. So my why today isn't about accomplishing my great feat. It's about reaching more people. It's about helping more people get to multi-generational wealth and be able to stand on their own 2 feet. No matter if they're a teacher, an engineer, or rocket scientist, many times your day job alone doesn't provide the kind of retirement that you want. And so how do you build that in a way that's stable, in a way that can promote not only success for you, but for your kids, and to be able to teach that, and to be able to teach it from a perspective of, I don't need anything. Like, I'm good. I've got my 23 investments. My kids are well on their way to owning their own investments. They're in college. They're fabulous. They're doing good. Like, I don't have to be that support for them. So now I can be the support for my clients and help them achieve, because their success doesn't threaten mine. Like, the more people I bring up, the better. And so that's my why. I wake up every day going, how many people can I impact, affect, change the course and the trajectory of their entire life? I love my job and I love what I get to do.
The coolest part about what you've just articulated is that when you're impacting people's lives with that why, it goes beyond just the person that you're talking to, right? You use that term multi-generational wealth. So you're not just impacting their future, but also their legacy, right? How they are going to pass down to the further generations of their family their benefits and their wealth. So you hit on this already. I'm assuming that this was not always your why. Have you found yourself to have different campaigns or whys as you've progressed through life? Are there dozens? Are there 30s? Are there single digits? Just to kind of get a grasp of it.
So, gosh, I've never counted, but the whys change with the seasonality, with the focus. So I've done everything from having my why be centered on some sort of physical activity, whether it was adventure racing that I was doing or marathons, or I did figure competing for years. And so it was accomplishing these great goals. And so every day when I woke up, I had routines around meeting the physical needs that I had to achieve in order to hit the levels that I wanted to hit. Or there was work goals when I was in corporate America. I wanted to hit certain levels in corporate America. And then I stayed home with the kids, and I wanted to see them all get into Montessori. So I fought, and I want to say manipulated, that's too hard. I facilitated, much more politically correct, the environment to get them into the schools that I wanted. And then I came into mortgage lending, and it was on the ops side. I've been mortgage lending for over 18 years now, but half of that was in ops. So it was about building great businesses and taking these small broker shops that I would come into and revamping them and restructuring them. And then now, this is a why that's new as of 4 years ago, I guess, when it started to turn. So there was a guy, I'll tell you a very short story. There was a gentleman, Don Kramer is his name. He's a realtor in the Denver market. I don't even know if he still practices. I haven't looked him up in a while. He was older when he impacted me, but I met him going on 8 or 9 years ago. And he was the guy that helped me see real estate, not as a job, but as an opportunity, as a lifelong opportunity to build wealth. And at the time, I absorbed everything he taught me personally. And I started to build these investment properties, this portfolio. And I was doing it personally. And I was starting to build a structure and a financial awareness and this platform and plan. And then it wasn't until about 4 years ago when I started looking at helping my son buy his first house. And I had other people coming up to me saying, how did you get the investments you have? I want to, but I don't know where to start. All of a sudden, everything that I had built and every experience I'd had for the last 4 or 5 years, all of a sudden started to trade instead of inward, outward. So that one man, Don Kramer, not only impacted the trajectory of my life, the trajectory of my kids' lives, but the trajectory of the hundreds of people that I get to serve every day and their kids and their families. I mean, so we have this incredible ripple effect opportunity. So the why has changed at least a dozen times, but it's grown in awareness and I think scope and passion as I get older and as I get more extrinsic, as I want to give more because I've already been given so much. Like I just need to start. Everything I do now is outward. God provides. I don't have to take care of myself anymore. So it's a really cool, my why today is definitely built on all the whys that came before it, but so incredibly powerfully different.
Is this the first time your why has been external? Have you found it to be self-motivated and internal and something that drives you in the past, or does it vary between internal and external?
It primarily internal. It's been around athletic feats or accomplishing a status within corporate America. There was a long period of time where it was about my kids, right? Or about being a good wife and a good mom. But I did that. I don't want to say I checked it off my list because my kids are such a deep, important part of my life, but they're rock solid. They're good. So, I gave in those moments and, a good friend and a good community member. And my husband and I tithe 10% on our gross every year. And we set up trust funds for the nonprofits we work with. So there's a lot of stuff that we do and have been doing. But this why is so much deeper and wider than I think the previous well, I mean, I don't know. The contributing 10% was definitely external. So I would say it, as you age, it becomes more so.
Yeah, and I think again, as you age, you start to build this knowledge bank of things that you've done. And at a certain point, you feel comfortable enough to begin to share, because at a younger age, you don't feel qualified to be an expert or talk about these things. But as you age and as you gain more knowledge, now there's people in their 20s, obviously, that are the exception to this rule, that have a huge knowledge bank. But by and large, the people that I've run into that have this wealth of knowledge to share and articulate it so well are those who have gone through it themselves and have experienced it and who have taught it now multiple times. Those are the people that become that wealth of knowledge and resource. And was this something that did a light switch flip and it just happened where you began to become external with the information? Was it as a result of helping your son? Was it building up to that, or was it a surprise to you that it happened?
It wasn't a surprise. I think it was a build. I think it was a slow build, that as I became more in tune with how to build it, how to do it, how to be successful, I'd kind of gone through years of having tenants and turnover and purchasing and selling and the experience of it all. Then was I ready? And then I helped my son do it. So I was able to help in a different way. And then helping him as a mom and as a professional, it definitely led to, oh my gosh, like this is something I can really impact if I focus in on this. And I'd been teaching, I mean, everything's in evolution. I've been doing videos at that point. I've been teaching agent classes, real estate agent classes. So then I just started layering, what I was talking about, what I was teaching, the classes that I was offering. And it just started to, each one of those skill sets started to build into what I have today. Nothing was overnight or a switch flipping. It was a slow burn.
Yep. I mean, that's true of, I think, most people who've experienced this kind of transition, that there's no switch that flips. It's years of hard work and dedication. So I don't have to really ask you about how this motivates you in the morning. I can see it. I can hear it. I know based on my interactions with you that you wake up and you have this drive and you want to help and you want to serve. But your why is pretty deep and complex in helping others. So how do you know at the end of the day or at the end of your days that the why that you're working on presently has been fulfilled?
So that's a great question. I think before I knew fully what I was doing towards developing and expanding on that, I didn't sleep well at night, right? So I stressed over the small things. And now I don't stress over the small things. I work long hours, and I might stress over getting somebody to the finish line, but I don't stress over the small things, because time and time again, I've proven that because I'm so driven and wired the way I'm wired, I'll put in the work it takes to get to the end results we need. So when I go to bed at night and I look back on that day, it's not about did something small go wrong, because something small always goes wrong. It's about how did I recover? So being an athlete, I'm really in tune with recovery time. And what did we do to accomplish that? How did we get that client to the end result? Did I lean in right where they were and impact them in a way that even if they don't want to think about building wealth through real estate today, and they're just simply trying to afford their first home, right? How do I communicate that in a way where they brighten up with the opportunities that are 2, 3, 10 years down the road? If I just plant enough seeds, those seeds will grow on their own, with or without me. So I go to bed at the end of the day knowing that I gave it my all. Like I wake up every morning and I'm up, like I'm working out, I'm on the computer, or I'm praying, I'm meditating, I'm doing all these things, I'm journaling, and I'm getting ready for the day. And the end of the day, I'm wrapping up and I'm looking back, and did I touch everybody I intended to touch that day? Did I do the things that I intended to get done that day? And did I move the ball forward? because every day I'm just trying to keep moving the momentum forward. Is there an activity, a task, a business goal, a communication, a conversation, something that I had to do to keep moving that ball forward so that I can impact more lives? And if I did, I had a good day. I had a really good day, in fact.
Man, I could go for another 20 minutes, but I want to be a good steward of your time. Any final thoughts before we finish up?
I would just say, I mean, if this is reaching anyone personally, right? Like if this is touching them, I would say that own your campaigns, right? There was a period of time where I got so frustrated with myself because I was all in. I'm all in on everything I do, to the point of exhaustion sometimes, or maybe to the point of not giving the attention to the other things in my life. I remember, and I've told this story a number of times, where, I'd be working with a client and my daughter would come in and she'd just come sit on my lap, right? And I'd wrap my arms around her and I'd keep working. And it was that I loved her and I still love her deeply, but I was passionate and all in on whatever it was that I was doing. And I used to beat myself up for that. And my husband said it at one point, and it's such a simple saying. I mean, he just said, Nicole, I don't understand why you can't figure out that wherever you go, there you are. Like you are all in. And I would say it's not about being present. That's different. It's about being 100% committed to whatever that thing is that is your why, your campaign, your activity right now. And sometimes it will fall to other things, and you have to give yourself some grace in that and know that you're championing something that you are given to do. So I would say that whatever that is, just if that's you at all, be okay with that, because it's a good life. It's a different life than a lot of people lead, but it's a good one. And I would be all in, because there's a calling for you right there.
Thanks so much, Nicole. I look forward to hearing feedback on this particular episode, and I appreciate you being on this journey with me and sharing your why. It's really been a great learning experience for me, and I'm sure that it will be impactful for other people. Thank you again. I genuinely appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you soon.